All right, what is it like owning a campground and how much money can they make? We have owned this campground now for over a year and a half, and I want to tell you a little bit about what it's like owning one. First thing we're going to do is we're going to walk into what used to be the old camp store. So you would actually walk in here and there would be things that you could buy, like, firewood, which actually we do have some outside for sale, but other things like hoses, snacks, maybe movie rentals and things like that. We have since got away from having an actual camp store, and this is just more or less a common space that people can come hang out in when the weather's like either too hot, too cold, raining. We have a little kitchenette back here. And also there's an apartment above us, a little 1 bedroom, 1 bath. All utilities are included and we charge $600 a month for that. So looking out the window here at our campground, we actually have our row of long-term campers all up on this side of the campground. We have our nightly campers down here, and then over here, which we'll go check that out. And also straight up this hill, we have more nightly spots. So keep that in mind if you're looking at buying a campground, that you keep a good mix of long-term, and short-term campers, because that can really make a difference on the overall feel and environment of the campground. Another thing to think about is what kind of amenities you're going to offer. Some examples would be like a pool, a playground. We have, cornhole sitting out here, but there is actually a lot of campgrounds that offer much more than we do. They might offer golf cart rentals, bike rentals, scooter rentals. They might have cabins on site. You actually even sometimes see campgrounds that have mini golf, water parks, different type of attractions that you can pay for. But at our campground here, we keep it pretty basic, and really the only amenities that we have are the pool, and we do have Wi-Fi available. So another thing you need to think about is in terms of how big is your campground and can it facilitate full-time staff? So we still have a little office here that's currently used as a junk room, as you can see, because we really don't need full-time on-site staff. Our campground, again, is about 50 lots. If we were much bigger than that, we could probably have on-site staff here, but we also run this more or less as a family business. I'm partners with my dad on this. And so he handles a lot more the on-site, the phone calls, taking care of campers and such. And so we don't actually have someone on site all the time. We have 2 people that help with the campground and fill the other roles that we need. We have a lawn care and maintenance person that does all the mowing and trimming and does some light maintenance and landscaping. And then we have another person that does the cleaning of the shower houses, empties trash, cleans the showers, the toilets, washes the floors and things like that. And then we also have that same person maintaining the pool. So, checking the chlorine level, cleaning the pool deck, keeping the water filled and things like that. So this is the exterior. We have the apartment up there. There's the door they walk in. We have our men and women's shower house, and then the laundry facilities are over on the other side of the building. One of the things that allows us to not have a big staff is the fact that software has really worked wonders. So we run this campground using a software called CampSpot, and CampSpot more or less allows people to go online to reserve the spot that they want, enter in their information in terms of like how big their camper is, is it going to fit on your lot? And then also they book through it. So, they put in their email address, they put in the dates they're going to be here, and then they actually pay for it straight from their computer or phone. I always love this view coming up here. You can kind of look down over the campground. You got this top row up here, really pretty. And this time of year is gorgeous here in the Midwest. It's starting to cool down a little bit, which is nice. And we're definitely moving into prime camping season. So then we come around here, start heading back down the hill. Don't mind my squeaky brakes. And then you got the long-term row coming up over here on the left. And we'll run down there and show you what it looks like that way. Real quick pit stop. So that is the barn. That is where we keep all of the mowing equipment, weed eaters, trimmers, blowers, things like that, that keeps the campground running. So back to software. Also want to touch on just your Google presence and your online presence, because if campers don't realize that you exist, then you're not going to get any bookings. So make sure that you have a really good Google presence, that you're listed on all the campground websites so that you pop up when people are searching for you. We find that a lot of mom and pop operators, especially in the storage space, which is another asset class that I invest in, you know, there's a lot of investors that don't realize how important it is to have your business listed online. So you want to make sure that you check out what are the reviews like, are you asking for reviews, and make sure that you got high quality photos on there and that you just have a good overall web presence. So we have this pavilion over here, and then we got another row down here. A lot of people with big campers a lot of times like these lower spots, and then these spots over here in the middle. A lot of parties, you know, they're kind of close together, so parties of people will like to camp there. But yeah, there's the overall overview of the campground. And now we're going to talk about how much money do they make. Okay, so this is going to be a general kind of rule of thumb for something like a campground that we own. Now, if you think about in terms of your gross income, so if we make $100,000 a year gross, so like without expenses added in there, you can plan on a campground like ours to operate at somewhere between a 50 and 60% expense ratio. So if we make $100,000, that means $50,000 to $60,000 of that is going to go towards expenses, which are things like utilities, lawn care, pool maintenance, you know, fixing the roads, you know, trimming trees, all the above. I almost forgot to mention two of the biggest ones, and that's taxes and insurance. Those are always big ones for sure. So what's not included in that 50 to 60% expense ratio is your mortgage payment. So that's going to be, it's going to vary greatly depending upon who you are, how you structured it. Did the bank finance it? Did you do owner financing? We did owner financing on our campground. So the owner is acting as the bank. And we did a really unique structure, and we'll have to talk about that in another video. So keep in mind, of that 50% expense ratio, that doesn't include the debt payment. Okay, so now how much does our 50 site campground actually make? So I don't want to share exact numbers. I mean, I don't actually know the exact numbers because they're not in front of me, but I'll tell you this. So our campground, it's seasonal. You know, it depends on the season you're in, how much you're going to be making. The winter is obviously way slower. Keep in mind that your nightly campers are going to be paying more than your monthly. So just to give you an idea, our nightly campers are paying about $40 a night. Our monthly campers are paying $20 a night. So if you have a campground that is primarily monthly, it's going to be a lot less, but it's going to be more stable. So keep that in mind. Our campground, the way we have it set up, we are generating on the low end $15,000 a month of gross, all the way up to $30,000 a month, or a little bit over that a month. So and then you subtract out your 50 or 60% for your expenses, and then you're going to subtract out your mortgage payments. So, you know, again, that's going to depend on how you structured that, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what a little campground can generate. They can be very, very lucrative little businesses, especially when you're adding on amenities, again, golf cart rentals, maybe you have a little camp store, you have a little restaurant, who knows, it's endless. And that's a beautiful thing about a campground is there is so much opportunity for add-ons where we are, also investors in self-storage, and it's a lot more linear. There's not as many different add-ons and different little businesses that you can tack on to a storage facility. So yeah, hopefully that gave you guys a better idea of what it's like owning a campground. It's a really fun business. It's also very stressful. It's not for everyone, but if you guys have more questions, don't hesitate to drop them below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the like button, and we'll see you in the next one.